Hi, and welcome to a brand new video. So in today's video, we're going to be solving the question on the screen where basically we are given a key and these keys are open for a certain amount of time. So for example, you can see keys um, C here is open from 0 to 9. B is going to be open from 9 to 29, so that'd be 20. C is then again open from 29 to 49 to 29, so that'd be another 20 to the original 9 we had, so 29. And D would be from 50 to 49. And for C, actually, it's not adding, it's whichever is greater. So for example, here it would be 9 versus 20, so 20 is greater. So technically, we would say that C was open for 20. So in order to solve this question, what we're going to do is we're going to use a map. And our map is going to have the character to the integer. And then we can iterate through the string, and then we can see which one's the greatest. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to say that we're going to create like this hash map, and you can create either using a map at the front or using the hash map at the front. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put keys pressed of char at 0. And the reason we're doing this is because, as you can see, the first one in the array is only this first value, so it's 9. But the ones after that is the current position minus the one before that. So if we just insert 0, then it'll make it much, much more clean inside the for loop. So that's why we'll just add it ahead of time. And then once we iterate, we can do release times of dot length I plus plus. So now that we iterate, now we don't need to say if I equals 0 because we already took care of that outside the for loop. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a variable C, and that's going to be keys pressed of char at I. You don't have to do this. For me, it just looks a lot cleaner, especially because we use this twice inside the for loop, so it just makes it look better. And what we're going to do is we're going to say if there's already an index inside the hash map for that character, then we're just going to do math.max of the current one versus the previous stored one. Otherwise, we'll just store the current one. But instead of doing those like 4 lines with those if statements, we can actually condense it to 1 line using the map.get or default function of that the map class provides. And I've already used this previously in one of my videos, but if just in case if you haven't used it before, what you do is you do map.put. You put the index you want, so here in this case it would be C. And then on the other side, what you do is you do map.get or default C 0. So what this does is it'll say that if map.has C, then it'll return that value. Otherwise, it'll return the default value of 0. So therefore, we don't have to do an if statement because this is technically an if statement inside a function. So it makes it much easier for us. And then we're just going to say math.max of map.get default, or the other math.max.value is release times of I minus release times of I minus 1. So you can also see in the sheet here, it says that the ith key is the duration of release times I minus release times I minus 1, except for the 0th key. So all we're essentially doing is iterating through and setting the map up. Now once it's set up, all you need to do is find the maximum. So what we're going to do is we're going to say char answer, and I'm just going to set it to keys press.char at 0. And this just makes it so that we don't have to do an if statement later saying that if answer is null or something like that. And then we can iterate through the map. So we can say for char c inside map.keySet. There are two scenarios here. First, we have map.getC is greater than map.getAnds, and if this is the case, we want to set ands to C. Now that we have this first condition on whether or not map.get is greater than C, you also need to care about this second condition here, which I didn't talk about earlier, but as you can see, if multiple presses of the same key have the same duration, then we need to return the lexicographically largest one. So therefore, we're going to add another condition here. And this other condition will say that if map.getC is equal to map.getAnds and C is greater than ands. So this is basically posing another statement that's saying if they're equal, then we just return the one which is lexicographically greater. And then at the end, we can return answer. So now if we run this, as you can see, we get CA, which is the answers on the notepad. So I hope this video was helpful and see you in the next video.